Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to your Facebook page, look us up, or hit see first to see and hear all the great programs that we have here on WNHHLP. And just a reminder, Cannabis Corner is also streaming live on the Greenhaven Media Facebook page and ProCannabisMedia.com, as well as a bunch of other places. So, good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, March the 2nd. Welcome to Cannabis Corner. I am your host, Joe LaChance, Joe the Weed Guy. And I am joined here by, of course, the one and only Uncle Lou, Farmer Lou. How are you today, Brother Lou?
Forward. We're pushing forward. We are doing what we
I'm having a little audio difficulties, Lou.
Sorry about that. It's been a couple weeks, my brother. We get to enjoy time with each other, and health hasn't been the best, but we've been pushing through it. We've been doing everything we can. So I just want to shoot that word out there to the world. Today's my little, I guess we'll call it my word of the day is just patience and grace. Huge shout out to all the healthcare workers out there. Sometimes they get bombarded and they have to make sure they have their grace and their patience as tools in their tool belts every day. So give a shout out to those working in doctors' offices and everything else.
Well, how about trauma centers, rehabs, all that kind of stuff, mental health institutions? But
You get
also,
the idea. Yeah,
I do, and
exactly.
I think the grace and the patience is something we all could use. They're
100%.
they're called virtues. They're one of the few virtues. There is a list of virtues, and those are two of them. And there are virtues and vices. And I believe that the more virtues we have than vices, the better off we are. So I agree. And especially in these times, I really want to put a message out there that people have to really start looking towards the positive and start loving each other like we're fellow humans. No more of this division, black versus white. No more of that, because we will never win and we will never survive what we're about to go through unless we are a unified humanity. And I think it's becoming clearer and clearer to people, what's really going on. So I hope sooner or later that we all get together and we all do what's right. And we're going to need a lot of grace and patience for that.
That is right, brother. And we've had these discussions as we continue to grow in the individuals we are and in the show and personal space and everything. And now the big thing is what we learned as we're stoners essentially, old hippies. We come from that idea. This isn't something that is a political
Never
thing,
was.
and this isn't what it is. But man, as the world continues to open up and you start seeing things and doing things and even seeing it from other countries' perspectives, like being other places and hearing people's perspectives and seeing
Right.
what's going on. I think the bigger part of it is it's no longer liberal, conservative,
Red,
Republican,
blue, yeah,
Democrat,
yeah, yeah.
smoker, non-smoker, gay, straight. Now it's just like
People,
I'm
humanity,
just disenfranchised by the whole thing, bro.
everything.
It's everyone. It is.
Yes, it is. And I look back
It's a
again.
dollar thing. That's what it is.
You're right. When I was growing up, and we had a similar situation with a war, and we had racial tensions, and everybody knows what happened in the '60s. And when I was just talking to two older people who were part of that, and I was saying, so remember back then there was no Republicans. It was all of us against the establishment. And everybody was unified because there was a war going on that was affecting everybody, an entire generation, devastated the boomer generation. Tons, hundreds of thousands, at least 100,000 killed out of that whole generation. And it unified people for one cause. And it's funny, the one thing she said, well, yeah, but there was a lot more drugs, there was a lot more pot, and people were more open minded. She said, maybe we ought to start putting weed in the water. And I said, how about acid? But
You know that's and you know what? I know this is taking a different turn than where the conversation was going, but man, the positivities from a small acid trip is
or
still super
mushy.
taboo, but the results are there. The science is there. You know what I mean? We're not talking about it, but we see ketamine. We can go
Yeah.
anywhere in Connecticut, and you can go to any ketamine center in Connecticut. Literally. So I didn't know this, but there's a ketamine center right by the Aldi's
Milford. I
in
see it all the
Milford.
time when I go shopping. Yeah, I'll get curious about it.
Stopped to grab some like dinner stuff at Aldi's in Milford, which isn't my normal place to go, But I said, you know what? I'm down here. Let me take the ride. I was leaving you. I was like, cool. Got to have a nice walk with Joe. We got to talk
Cheap
about our
over there.
stopped over, and man, brother Joe,
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this is like a boutique.
Yeah.
It's boutique, bro.
Yeah, that's my spot. I see it all the time. I get very curious about it, but a lot of times they're not open.
It's boutique by appointment. They're open
Yep.
and they're making their money. They have a Connecticut approved ketamine license
Yep.
and paid for by insurance or private pay, and it's practiced through mental health and wellness and
Yeah.
paid for by insurance. And I am like, wow, this
Yeah.
is this is it. It was called Special K back in the day, right?
Yeah. Special K holes, baby. But
Yeah,
now they've
like
learned how to use it
it was a whole
medically.
thing. It was a
Yeah.
huge whole thing that
Oh yeah.
really
It
opened
was a
it up.
bad, bad, bad drug. People were saying it was horrible.
Right, and then
And
they made it legal, right?
well, because they learned how to dose it. So they made it for medical, which is what it was always supposed to be. Well, maybe it wasn't always supposed to be used for, but they found that was one of the benefits of it. It is the same as MDMA.
I'll
They're
take it
now.
this way. It's all medical, Joe. Just like weed.
Well, it's all the things, if you look at it, that used to be used recreationally, right? And people were overdosing and doing it too much and not dosing it properly and doing it in the wrong environments. But if you look at it, MDMA was a party drug. Ketamine was a party drug. Weed, party drug. Acid, party drug. And now they're finding that there are also very good medical and psychological benefits to all these things that were once called party drugs, recreational, if they're dosed and used properly.
So
So it's
let me
come a
ask you
long
this.
way.
Let me ask you this. We keep talking. We call it a party drug because that was the terminology. Then we
That's
use
what we
the
use, yeah.
word recreational. Now, as the newer generations, medicine, science, all the other things, everybody has now been able to put things labels. If it was a party drug, that's because it made us happy, which means it lowered depression. Now it's
Yeah,
just
there was reasons we liked it.
so now it's making it so that these are your reasons. You're a sad person and you need to work at it. I was talking to a psychologist, therapist, professional, doctorate, all this stuff, and he's like, man, I'm on ketamine almost all the time by prescription, and I've opened two centers in Jersey.
Yeah, there's also an addiction thing. I know there's people who do what they call the bumps, ketamine bumps. I know that's very popular in the tech world. And so it's really tiny little microdoses like we used to do with Coke, just a couple bumps up the nose. Now, I don't know what that does to you. I don't want to find out.
Right.
But I also see the purpose that's abusive.
Right. There's all levels of it. You can abuse what's the most heavily abused substance in the world? Sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
And doctors will tell you all the time, sugar and coffee. Coffee and sugar. Those are the two highest addictive, worst for you. And then we have all the other things we do. Moderation is what teaches us some of those things. But man, once you can claim something where your insurance pays for it or anything else of those lights, it becomes super mainstream. And we all know what the problem with cannabis is.
Right.
The problem with cannabis is the smell.
Yeah,
So
mostly, yeah.
with like it's not a
Cigarettes, all
problem,
that.
but the reason why people really chastise it is the smell.
Yeah,
You
because you're
know,
smoking it.
because you're smoking it. Now, if you do
Anything.
edibles or even vape pens, the taboo of vape pens has gone away
Way down,
completely.
yeah. Way
And these
down.
are conversations we've had 1,000 times, but it's now, I think, as we get older and mature and find different walks in the life that we're doing, it hits different places. It's,
Yeah.
and knowledge and experience always do that one thing, gets to open, and it opens those conversations because, I can't wait, and I look forward to, because I know we're working on it, having people from those settings. So having somebody who has a ketamine clinic that wants to
I would
talk
like to
about
have that
genetics.
guy on. As a matter of fact, that was my intention, but nobody was there.
Right, right, right. I know. And that's where we're moving with it, because not just that, but now if you're showing that this gets your mind mentally better, prescribed everything, maybe the next part, like we were talking about, is having that farmer or that manufacturer of certain food products or health
Yes.
food products come in and talk about their experiences with whatever they're using,
Well,
to help things along, not just those
it
business
comes down to
aspects.
this. Two things I
Yeah,
want to do right away, real quick. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor,
yes, sir.
Metatron Homegrown, Gabe over there. I invited him on the show today, but maybe he's busy over there and he doesn't have time to get on. But I wanted to give him a plug. He is our sponsor. We want to thank him again for everything he does for us. And he's got a big event coming up this weekend. It is a seed swap because we noticed today is March.
That's
And
right.
this is 20 days until spring. So we got to start getting ready and picking out our genetics for what we're going to do this year. And Gabe, obviously being Metatron Homegrown, is throwing an event at the Orange Store this Saturday, May the 7th, and it is a seed swap.
That's
So
beautiful.
it goes from 12 to 2, but it's always good over there. Again, Gabe throws good little events. He always has food. He always has nice, good vendors. And it's always a good place to just come, be with the community, and socialize. So I know I will be there. And of course, we know Gabe has two locations, one in Meriden and one in Orange. And, we just want to support. It's that time. We're
He's a
getting into
great guy.
spring. We're
He
getting
opens
to
up the
spring.
community. His events are exactly that. They're community function. They're community focused. So if you're available this weekend, go pick up a pack of seeds. They're usually pretty cost effective at his spots. He's got a great variety.
Yeah, I know Focus seeds will be there, and Focus has some really high quality genetics. I
Yep.
don't, I was hoping he'd come on and tell us who else will be there, but I'm sure if you go to his social media, you can find out.
And just pop in. If you're interested, pop in for a couple minutes. There's usually
Pop
a
in.
raffle. There's usually some pretty good things. But drop down. If you are interested in anything cannabis production, manufacture, anything for yourself, check him out. He's got all those little tools, things that you don't need to purchase. So like I just needed something to do a little bit of trimming. He has those small models to pick
Yeah,
up, nothing
those nice
crazy.
ones.
Yep, you don't have to go out and break your bank to do this when there's a good community in place to make it happen. And Gabe
Oh,
has
yeah.
that.
You need to hook up for some used equipment. You don't want to pay full price. Gabe knows people who's selling. It's a good place, good hookup. I go there at least, once or twice a month, almost every week, just to hang out and say hi. So I will be there Saturday. If y'all want to come down and say hi and smoke a little weed with Uncle Joe, Joe the weed guy, we'll have some fun. But, one thing before our guest comes on, Lou, we're always talking about the Connecticut legislature.
Ooh, baby.
And they did it again.
Yes, sir.
They did it. They did not disappoint. So I'm reading an article today. 100
Early. They did it quick.
early, right away. Bill 5350. Okay, it's a 173 page bill.
Mhm.
So a couple of the things that it's going to change is it's going to change. Okay, here's something. This is a big deal. They're taking the word marijuana out of all the bill and changing it to cannabis. Okay, then they're going to so it will clearly define high THC and the definition between high CHT hemp products and certain lab made compounds. All right, whatever. It will allow medical patients. We'll open up the medical program to certain out of state patients. Okay, so there's a little bit of reciprocity in there. That's decent. Pharmacists would still, okay, that's fine. The one that really got to me was the fact that they want to start selling THC beverages in bars.
In bars, and not even so, Joe.
That's an accident waiting to happen.
Joe, here's the here's a couple. There's a couple caveats to that. They're using this legislation to allow it in bars and
Right.
restaurants. So bars and restaurants under the control of the liquor agency.
Right.
So now these don't even have to be, and this is going to happen be the same way that it's happening now. It's a loophole for the corporates to keep their hemp THC beverages.
Yeah.
So,
It just shows what a game it is.
which will only this will only benefit a small handful of people
Yep.
who have manufacturing facilities to handle this product on the hemp side.
Yeah.
So even if these companies were like super cannabis, they found their loophole in hemp
Yep.
and now have pivoted to hemp and have then used legislative pushes to now have a THC hemp beverage, not even under the preview or purview of anything cannabis or hemp. Or
No,
hemp.
it's yeah, it's
So
they
great.
already did it by allowing it into liquor stores, right? That was step 1. And we should have known. Step 2 would be the bars, right?
Right, and it was just where it was going to go. Because this is nothing that's out of the world, because we've had CBD beverages that are
In the bars for a long time.
and they've been unregulated, so they can't really distribute them. They're kind of getting it's a gray area. The next part of it is now allowing the THC beverages. They'll put a whole limit, which isn't it's weird because now you're going to govern something that hits you in 2 to 3 times the time frame
I
than
just
alcohol. You know what I mean? You drink a beer in about 20 minutes, you're pretty lit. You know, you have one drink, you're not
right.
inebriated, then you have a second drink, then you're inebriated. You know, by law, after your second drink, you're inebriated. You know, just by the numbers.
But right now, who's all right? So you're in the bar, right? And we know how it gets in bars. You're playing the music. You order your THC beverage, right? You have one. It tastes great. They're all like White Claws. They all that similar type. All those
Yep.
beverages. You drink one, then you have a White Claw,
Right.
and you have one of them, and then you say, "Oh, I'm having you." Let's say you're mixing the two, right? You're not now. Before you couldn't even have that option. If you wanted to get high, you go smoke in your car or whatever. Now you could sit right in the bar, drink these drinks, and mix them with alcohol. That's an accident waiting to happen because you're
Joe,
going to drink the
I don't even condemn
THC
anybody
drinks.
for doing what they're doing. I hear what you're saying. I pull the freedom of whatever you want to do kind of card. But what does and I'll encourage. I don't want to say encourage, but if you're a drinker and a smoker and you do edibles, I am not. I haven't been somebody that
Okay,
hasn't taken. I have. I have taken my
you
THC drink. Throw a shot of Tito's in there. This was, what
okay?
I
That's
did when.
fine.
When no, it's not fine because it's exactly what we're talking about, and I would be lit, 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 lit.
But
You
Lou,
know, it's the mixing,
you're a professional smoker. I'm
and
sorry
I
to say
lit.
these people that in the bars are amateurs. And they're not going to know.
There you go. That's a great conversation to
They're
have.
not going to know that four THC beverages and four White Claws or whatever beers, whatever there is going to have, what kind of effect that's going to have.
I'll take it one step further because this happened the other day to me. I was having, I was having dinner with some friends at a buddy's house. He has never had cannabis, never once in his life. Blessings to him. Him and his wife came to the dispensary when I was open, and they just picked up some gummies. You know, we were talking about it. He was about three scotches. It was Scotch night. He was about three scotches in, and he goes, his wife, who does cannabis and enjoys her gummies, comes over and goes, "Are we going to have gummies tonight?" And he's three drinks in, never had cannabis before,
There
says,
you go.
"Yeah, I'm going to have one." She's excited. He's happy. Everybody's cool. He has one 5 milligram gummy. It came from the dispensary. It was legal. It was purchased under their whole thing, you know, but he's been holding them for 6 months.
Right.
And I'm like, bro, those are the same ones you bought like 6 months ago. He was, yeah, I just didn't have the nerve to do it. Now he's got three drinks. He took his 5 milligram gummy and he was couch locked for the rest of the night because he had never done
And
cannabis before.
and these people are going to be in a bar.
Right.
Now,
He's
what's going to
never done
happen in the
cannabis
corner? They're going
before.
to get couch locked, and you know, I mean, it's
And it was only 5 milligrams. So like
right.
in my head, I'm like, bro, it didn't do anything to you realistically. His head, it was the very first time he had ever had any cannabis in his system, and it hit him.
Yeah, and this is going to happen. But I want to bring on our guest because this is a person who's going to be out selling and dispensing cannabis to people. And she works for Rejoice Dispensary. So I wanted to bring on our guest. With us today is Carolyn Trzaski. Please forgive if I pronounce it wrong. She's a 29-year-old Connecticut native and a proud dog mom whose career has been shaped by deep commitment to patient care. She graduated from pharmacy school in 2020 and went on to practice pharmacy in both retail and hospital settings, gaining a strong foundation in medication management, patient counseling, and clinical support. In 2025, Caitlin brought her medical expertise into the cannabis space, joining Rejoice Dispensaries as a pharmacist and serving multiple medical and adult use locations across Connecticut. Her transition into the industry was driven by a passion for expanding access to safe, high quality cannabis as a therapeutic option. Today, Caitlin is proud to dispense cannabis as a medicine to patients stationed statewide, helping individuals navigate their treatment options with compassion and evidence based guidance and a genuine belief in the plant's healing potential. She works for Rejoice Cannabis Dispensary, and it's a community rooted multi location retailer serving Meriden, Seymour, and Norwich with a focus on both recreational and medicinal cannabis. Each Rejoice dispensary is designed to feel warm, welcoming, and judgment free, offering patients and adult use consumers a space where quality, sustainability, and education come together. Okay, Caitlin, how are you today? There
Hi,
you
I'm
go.
doing well. How are you?
Great, great. I'm really glad to have you on because I've always wanted, I've spoken to people, pharmacists before, but you are now under the new laws where you can work multiple dispensaries, correct?
hmm
So previously to this, did you work exclusively at one dispensary?
So I actually just became a pharmacist for the dispensaries recently. So before that, I was at CVS, but previously, I believe, yes, you had to be stationed at the dispensary, but now I can work all three of our medical stores remotely and in person at the same time.
As their pharmacist. So you
hmm
you are no you're not a pharmacy tech. You are a legit pharmacist.
Legit pharmacist.
Great,
We
great.
always love having pharmacists on because it's this space has so many different aspects of it. Caitlin, it's great to meet you. Um, what are what are some of your favorite ways, since we were just talking about ways of medicating recreationally and both medicinally? and we talk a lot of the recreational side of things, and we like having pharmacists on or medical professionals or anything, and we like to hear your opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
prefer that.
Yeah, we like having, because you come with the education, the accreditation, and the experience of so many different things. Pharmaceutical drugs that are being used, why they're used, how they work, and then some things that people might not understand. Uh, there are some interactions between cannabis and other drugs. People don't even know that.
Right.
People
Absolutely.
wonder why something might not be working for them, and it could 100% just do what your current medications are. And
Hmm.
Well, it could be
as
also as bad as something giving you a bad effect. You know,
yeah, it's
a
the mixing of
reaction.
everything. Because we were just talking about mixing cannabis and alcohol. What are some
Yes.
thoughts coming from that next step? But cannabis, alcohol, and then what's medication that now might have a reaction between. How many times people take a medication and it says do not take with alcohol, and they still take it with alcohol?
Right.
Absolutely.
Like what happens between those portions of it when you introduce like cannabis?
Yeah, I've never drilled down really deeply into that. Like, so, and that is really the difference between a medical, having a pharmacist on site, and a strictly adult use, whereas you don't know what these medications these people are on. They could be coming on and buying anything they want and with no advice, and then come back and complain, say they had a bad reaction. But I think the fact is, what are some of the specific drugs that people take, maybe so they can know, that could interact negatively with cannabis or should not be taken with cannabis? I've never really gotten
Yeah.
down to the specifics. Like, maybe if we can tell people this on the air, they'll know what
Yeah,
drugs.
absolutely. So the main interaction is usually increased sedation, which will usually already be a side effect of some of these medications. So some medications like benzodiazepines, known as Xanax, Valium, as well as sleeping agents, Zolpidem, these all make you very sleepy and sedated. So typically, if you were to drink with them, it leads to increased sedation, blacking out, becoming more inebriated than you wanted to. And then, so cannabis does slightly affect that as well, since it does have the sedating effect. But
So
yeah,
Kate,
so
I have a
if anything,
question.
I would just, if you're on certain anxiety meds, just be mindful. I typically say try smoking indicas or hybrids, because then you'll know the effects. Sativas can sometimes be more uplifting, causing increased heart rate, sometimes increased anxiety.
Then you got that.
Uh, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go up and down. That's
Right.
yeah, that's
And
definitely not
imagine,
it. And then
and then imagine
a lot of
adding
people don't
alcohol.
realize how helpful CBD can be with
Lou, what were you going
the
to say?
THC.
What I was just piggybacking off of what Miss Caitlin was saying is now the alcohol as well with the medication, because it could be something as small as like a beer or something, right? We're not
Mm-hmm.
talking, and I guess this is the question to Caitlin. It's not it doesn't have to be like 4 or 5 shots, or it could literally just be one, right?
One beer, one
Yeah,
white
it could be
claw.
one beer, one shot, one White Claw. Yeah, and you could be seemingly as drunk as having 8 or 9.
Right. Because, and then imagine adding cannabis to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I would be
dangerous.
so tired.
Yeah, you should.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're saying you really shouldn't mix benzos with cannabis unless you are under advisement of, say, a pharmacist or even a
Absolutely.
doctor at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So now, how about opioids? This is another thing that people are prescribed quite often, for pain or whatever. How does that, something like that, interact with
Yeah,
cannabis?
so opioids do work on a different receptor. Cannabis works on your cannabinoid receptors, so that is why cannabis does have the medicinal effects. So the pain relief. So using opioids with cannabis, again, it's almost like the benzo situation where it will lead to increased sedation, but you are targeting pain in a different sense. So sometimes I do recommend for people to try cannabis rather than some of their breakthrough pain meds that they would use as needed.
You say rather than, right?
Yeah.
But not in conjunction with. And full disclosure, I used to run a medical place where we gave out the certification. So I worked with APRNs and doctors, and the goal was always to tell the patient that it would be better to try and wean yourself off your opioids and get on and use cannabis as a substitute.
Absolutely.
Whereas a lot of people get pushbacks from their doctors about that, and we all know.
Oh, definitely. I have a few medical patients that their doctors see because it goes into the system, what they're picking up cannabis wise. Some doctors have some pushback and they're like, you're visiting the dispensary too often. And I tell them, you have 5 ounces. Use it to your leisure. Like, it's safer than a majority
you say
of
you're visiting the pharmacy too often.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly. They might tell the pharmacist that it's okay.
I mean, that's a double standard, but it's people like you who are out there who are knowledgeable, who seem to really care about the well-being of the patient. Not the bottom line of whatever the growers are, or whatever the medical dispensary. So we opioids, benzoids, those are kind of. Now, what about simple things like what about our other medications that people on? I don't know, maybe even for diabetes, things like for physical ailments.
What about like high blood pressure and stuff like that?
Yeah. So typically,
if you're on those high blood pressure meds,
yeah. So the high blood pressure meds. So if it does interact with cannabis, it's typically just piggybacking off the side effect of a low heart rate or low blood pressure, which could sometimes make you dizzy. So if your blood pressure med already does that, there is a chance that some strains of indicas may also bring down your heart rate, may make you dizzy, increased risk of falls, especially in elderly patients. But again, I feel like sometimes it could help because it could be anti-anxiety. But typically your blood pressure meds, if they're working correctly, it should be regulated no matter what you introduce. And for diabetes, I would say your main concern would probably be the munchies and eating too much and your sugar going up.
The THC itself doesn't interfere with the drugs.
No.
Okay. So edibles is always one of those subjects that comes up a lot. Are you seeing more no sugar options coming into the medical space? Because I know at one point that was something that was more rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
everybody dusted
definitely.
it. So what do you think about that currently?
So we did a lot of my stores. That's been a common ask is, do you have any sugar free? And I'm like, that's a great question. So in the Meriden store, I know for a fact we did get sugar free through Asteroids, their gummies. Pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah, that's another thing. Now,
it's an option.
You have 3 dispensaries now, Rejoice. You guys are fairly new, right? Yeah, Meriden. Where's the other one?
Meriden and Norwich are both recreational and medical, while Seymour is recreational only.
So you're working the 2, the Norwich and the Meriden right now. Okay. So do you actually go in there also? Or are you pretty... Okay, so you go in there. So what do you find as the ratio between medical patients as opposed to adult use? What is how many, what's the percentage compared to how many adult use patients you get in through the door and how many medical patients you get in through the door?
I would say it's definitely more 70-30, about 70 recreational, a lot less medical.
Right. Now let's go ahead, Lou.
All right. So I guess as we continue on that, Rejoice is not one of the names that we've heard throughout the ages and kind of all over the place. And we're hearing the small community focus. I've seen them at some of the events. we know that all the places, all the dispensaries sell the same things. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That's that tough thing. What makes Why would somebody choose Rejoice as their medical location to work with you over something else, I guess?
The butter, one of them, right?
Yeah, no,
Well,
absolutely.
Curaleaf, because Curaleaf's and some of those, like, I'm just asking.
Oh
Just
no,
give me a
definitely.
second to highlight what you guys got going on.
Yeah,
I
maybe
guess
you carry
it
different
was a
products.
segue question to give you that space to, to kind of, big up what you got going on, because it
Yeah, we
sounds
want to
like
know
you're
what's.
proud. It sounds like you're happy, knowledgeable. It sounds like you're enjoying what you're doing in a career, which is so hard these days in any
It
career.
is.
I hear people coming out of, I'm in a college fraternity, so like I have fraternity brothers that reach up to alumni, and these guys are now going through pharmacy school. They're young, and they're asking these questions because most pharmacists that come out of school end up in the CVS, Walgreens. I believe it's called the retail pharmacy section.
Mhm.
As
Um,
you were in.
and that is hard. I've heard that that is a tough arena. Not to downplay
It
anything, but
definitely is. It definitely
you
is. It's not for the weak.
right, like and I make the joke. I went in and got some medicine the other day, and it was I'm in the hood. I'm from Bridgeport, so like our CVS is wall to wall to wall to wall, and
Hmm.
you're like, wow. And they're yelling at each other. Like the client is yelling at the pharmacy tech, and they don't. There's an insurance. You're not just a pharmacist in that
Yeah,
section.
that's so true.
You're a
Yeah.
pharmacist, insurance agent, manager, price checker,
Yeah.
literally everything. And then there's a rate,
Punching bag to some people. Like
Yes.
and then you're still doing it with a
absolutely.
smile on. Because
Yeah.
pharmacist isn't nasty to I haven't seen it, and I'm like, wow, because you maintain professional decorum, of course,
Oh
in that
yes.
space with that challenge. And now, as you've transitioned into cannabis, it's a completely different substance. It's a completely different thing, but it's regulated and kind of maintained in the same way. Do you see yourself having the ability to talk to patients much more than you did in the retail space? And how do those conversations go? Are they
Oh, that's
usually
true.
positive?
Hmm.
Really?
Are
Yeah,
you
that's.
getting a lot of people asking? Maybe this is a way to get more people to ask to talk to you guys, but just to
Yeah, no,
know that you're
it's
available.
yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. It's a whole new world compared to retail. I do have all the time now. When people come in and they have a question, I'm able to stand there, talk to them. When they find out I'm a pharmacist, especially some of the older crowd, because sometimes they're nervous. Cannabis has always been taboo. So some people have been like, "Oh, I should probably talk to my pharmacist," and I'm like, "Well, I
Here I
am
am.
one. So what's up?" And it's been super helpful because I've been able to help quite a few patients try cannabis and come back.
Right. And that's a good thing, I think. Like you said, it gives a certain level of confidence to that older crowd.
Hey,
People who are,
Joe,
yeah.
you know, and I'm going to pose this question to you, Caitlin. Um, it's an interesting thing because even me, so I owned a hybrid dispensary in Connecticut. Um, and we closed down recently. So I had three pharmacists on staff. Um, People choose their pharmacies. They pick their CVS, they pick their Walgreens, and they'll always go back to it as long as service is good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes that default place that they go. And that relationship comes from exactly what you're saying. You're able to stand there and talk to them, and then they find out that your credentials, and somebody might choose to go out of their way knowing that you or one of your colleagues is at that counter or in that space that they can ask those trusted questions, you know?
And refer other
Absolutely.
people, refer their friends.
So you play a large role in that reason why somebody would go to one dispensary over another. And that's a pivotal role on so many levels. So keep up the good work.
Yeah, because let's be real. There's been some other places you might go, and I haven't been in a dispensary in a while, um, where the pharmacist may not be available or may not be as smiley or as nice as you are.
I've walked into some places and they're just downright mad at the world, and it comes off in their customer service. And
Oh
that's
yeah, no,
tough.
we don't stand for that. We take pride in the fact that we are there for our customers. Customer service is a huge key player. We want people to keep coming back. We know people by their first names. I know what strains my medical customers like, and they
Okay.
keep coming back because they could go anywhere, but they choose to stay with us.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I'm getting towards it. Because trust me, I've seen I've seen all sides of the arguments. To have the pharmacist, not to have the pharmacist, where it's at. I know it from the business side, and at the same time understand it from the patient side. So it's one of those areas that needs to be discussed with that full transparency. You know what I mean? And cannabis is expensive in Connecticut. It is expensive. So that value perception is so important. And for at least some of my experience, and I ask if this has been your experience as well, when somebody comes and purchases from your location, they're not just looking to just pick up any type of weed that's in a bag and thank you very much. They're usually coming with a purpose. They want to know kind of what's going on. They want to know the honest opinion of the people that are working there. Multiple brains are a lot better than one brain. And the experience of the actual purchase, that value perception, that they feel valued as an individual. So Rejoice isn't sponsoring us or anything, but I would love to know what are some of the things they do for their patients, you know?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. So we are Deal City, pretty much. If you're not a member and you're just walking in, Monday through Friday, every day is a different deal. Today's Monday, Magical Monday. We have 15% off all of our eights. Tuesdays, 20% off 2 cannabis products. Wednesdays, 20% off vapes. Thursdays, edibles are 15% off. And then Fridays, when we give love to our medical patients, not only do we have discounted prices for our medical patients, but they also get additional percentage off on Friday. And now, if you're cool enough to be a member, which everybody should be, when you sign up, you get $5 off. And then you get 3 discounts per month for each visit, 10% your first visit, 20% off, 15% off your second, and 20% off your third. We also have a ton of deals always going, like our pre-roll deals. If you're a veteran, you get 22% off. We
Oh,
have
that's
student
nice.
discounts, senior discounts, and we also have a point system. So every dollar is a point. As you accumulate, they don't expire. So 200 points is $10 off, 500 is 35, 750 points is 25% off your subtotal. And we will soon be
Wow.
introducing member exclusive prices for our in-house eighths and quarters.
Wow.
So
So
yeah,
that's
many deals
good.
on this.
It's good.
Your in-house brand, who you guys have a manufacturer?
So we have our own grow out in New Britain, and that is our
Which is your
brands known
grow?
as a grow, our own facility that grows our own brands.
Have you
No, no, I
opened?
mean,
Have you started
what's the name
producing?
of the grow facility?
What was that?
What's the name of the grow facility?
It's under Janani LLC. That's our owner of everybody.
No, I mean the brand. Yeah, yeah. So like we go into the store, what's the name of the brand?
Oh, the brands are Awesome, Shaka, and Springtime.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, are they out in the market yet? Have you
Oh, yep,
guys?
they are out in the market. That's our pre-rolls. They're 1 gram, amazing. Our eighths and our quarters are great. Our grow does an amazing job. We have so many different strains, and they keep coming out with more.
And
Interesting.
so your brand. So now pricing wise, because now I'm interested. I should have walked over. I was next door in Meriden today. I was at the doctor's office next door. So
That is our brand, the Awesome Shaka and Springtime, are typically priced lower than the outside vendors, such as Affinity and Curaleaf. So we are able to get those great prices out to our customers, as well as quality cannabis.
Now, how long have you guys been up and
the
running and
discounts go on
producing?
top of the low price already.
So I believe our eighth of banana cake is $30. So if you came in today, signed up to be a member, you'll get $5 and then 10% off that as well.
You walk
Wow.
out the door for $30. That's pretty dope.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's
Okay.
that's on the streets too. So not that I would know, but so that's good. The prices and the fact that you can manufacture and grow your own, not only growing your own cannabis, but manufacture your own products as well,
Mhm.
enables you to offer those low prices. Now, are your products available in other dispensaries as well?
Yes, I believe right now Fine Fettle has us as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
Fine Federal covers everything.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
And
Dope.
I'm assuming you carry other brands as well. What brands do you carry? Do you carry Happy Confection or any of the other
Yep.
gummy
Yeah,
brands?
we have Happy Confection. We have Soundview,
I see you,
Affinity,
Joe, shouting
Aeroplant.
out our local friends.
Yeah. We have
Soundview,
a
great
ton of
company.
awesome vendors we work with.
Yeah, Soundview, absolutely.
Soundview's
Nobody can
great.
say anything. Nick, Kelsey, they are. Talk about the local. If you want to, like, I know, and they don't. We don't support a lot of things. We talk, but man, those two individuals have a story that is as homegrown Connecticut as you can imagine. You know
Well,
what I
we're gonna
mean?
get them on the show.
And
You
then
should.
our other awesome friends from the Happy Confection,
They're
like
great.
you're talking these in highlighting those inside of another small community boat focused program. This is the part of the program that makes it easy to highlight,
Yeah,
while the other 75% of it
the
sucks.
corporate.
You know what I mean? Well, it's a company, it's corporate, it's vertically integrated. They're doing the things, but they're doing it right. You know, if you're saying the house brand is your lowest cost items, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know,
yeah,
and then you're able to still continue that. That gets cannabis to the people at an okay price. You know,
Absolutely.
that's what we've been all fighting for, because if it's passing the test, if your name isn't known very much in this space, that's okay too, because it's not being blasted all over the place and negative. Because remember, negativity causes headlines. That's what everybody looks at. But the people that really do things, the constant warriors, the constant people doing things, and I'll say this for advocates, I'll say it for companies, I'll say it for small businesses. The ones who usually are doing it right don't get very much of that pomp and circumstance. It's usually when something's going wrong that a lot of that media gets driven to them. So when you
right.
start seeing things doing it right, that's dope.
Yeah,
And I'm happy that we got you guys on the show today. And
yeah.
I'm
That was
happy,
one of the reasons I brought you guys on.
yeah, give a little bit of shine to that space, because even right now through this, we're able to tell people you don't have to buy one of the MSOs, multi-state operators, or people that have been caught up in everything's brand from you on the show. You can actually go in and get the house brand, and
Mhm.
everybody loves a good house brand.
Right.
You have more information about what's going on because it's through your company. It's not through something else. And work with and see the person that's growing it in your next corporate meeting. It's not like it's a hiding thing, or they come in to pop in and it's okay, cool. It's part of the family. It's 3
Mhm.
dispensaries and a grow. Dope. That's a great
Yeah,
size in Connecticut for what you're doing.
yeah. It
So,
sounds
and to have the professional there to handle that part of it, that brings that value perception to come in. And you don't have to push anybody else's stuff that just got caught up in something?
Mhm.
So it
yeah.
brings a
That's
little bit of
true.
the heart back to it. And I think that's really dope.
Yeah, I'm really glad we had you guys on because I did not know first of until I was contacted that you guys had to grow.
Yeah.
I had never heard it had opened, and it's always good because Lou and I are always talking about the amount of dispensaries compared to the amount of grows, and it's great to see another one up and running, going. And where's the grow located?
New Britain.
New Britain. How big's the facility?
Honestly, I haven't visited it. I've only seen pictures, unfortunately. But
it's
it's nice size. Yeah,
it's either a
they get it
micro.
done.
Yeah, I believe
Was
it's
that?
a micro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a micro. That's even better.
Yeah, so it's dope, and they're doing their thing. I'm about, hey, that's what's up. So if you have anything, we got a couple minutes left. Like literally have 2 minutes left. It's so
Right.
120 seconds.
But
Please
yeah,
do you think, Joe?
yeah, give us all your socials, how people can, your website, how people can reach you, and any events that you guys might be out and about at, people can come visit you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us at rejoice.shop for any of our stores. And we are also on Instagram under Rejoice Shop. You can find us there. Feel free to visit anytime. We'll be there.
Facebook
And
too.
Meriden,
Facebook as well.
what? So all the socials, 3 towns.
Yeah, where's the
Mhm.
location, Meriden? Where's it located?
Yep. So we have Meriden, we have Seymour, and Norwich.
There you
Okay,
go.
very good.
That handles most of our listenership. Um, if there's a hot strain or something from your house brand, shout that right quick, and then
Yeah, yeah. What would you
Oh
recommend
yeah,
out there?
definitely.
Yeah, tell us.
Right now, just dropped the Great Lake grapes, beautiful indica, absolutely gorgeous through Shaka.
And
Highly
and that.
recommend.
look it up online, guys. See if it is what it is.
Yeah, what are the three brands again?
Shaka, springtime, and awesome,
Shaka, Springtime, and Awesome, and you're doing pre-rolls, Ace.
and quarters.
Okay, and are you doing gummies or anything too?
We don't have gummies yet.
Okay, but
Okay.
you will be making them. But you got the full manufacturing license. Hey, Caitlin. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. I want to thank you again for coming on and enlightening our audience about a new dispensary that we didn't know about. And wish you guys all the success in the world. Keep doing what you're doing. We hope to see you out there, out and about in the community. So thank you very much. That's Rejoice Shop on Instagram and Facebook and rejoiceshop.com, correct?
No,
Thank
rejoice.shop.
you.
Oh,
Rejoice.shop.
rejoice.shop. Okay.
All right.
Check them out, everybody.
Thank you guys.
All right, Caitlin, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. All
Have a
right,
great day.
you too. All right, Lou, big shout out to Gabe. I just want to remind everybody to go check out the seed swap this weekend over at the Orange location. You got any final thoughts for us, Lou?
Spring is coming. Sun is up over 12 hours now.
That's right. We got daylight next week.
That's right. So just kind of understand that we may have some snow, but it's warming up. So continue to put love out into the world. Warm up a little bit. There's a
Get
lot of
ready for
stuff
your
going
growth.
on, but you can control the 6 feet around you. You know?
That's right. Control your own headspace, and that's all you got to worry about. Whatever happening in the outside world, just remember it's not real. It's
Stay
not.
happy, and high, my friend.
I love you, brother Lou. I will talk to you, I'm sure, during the week. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, it's at Greenhaven Media, at Cannabis Corner Radio, at Joe the Weed Guy, and at Farmer Lou. So we'll talk to you then. Harry, hit that music. We'll see you next week. We got some great guests from the Cannabis Radio Network. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate your business. We appreciate your listening. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, everybody out there. Remember, just keep the faith. Keep the faith. Love everybody. Love each other. Talk to you next week.